Montag, nach halbem Tag, wenn der Gabe los sich herunter von sein Garnikel, öffnen die Kleus zu Mincha. Monday afternoon, as the Gabbai went down from his attic apartment to open the shul for the afternoon prayers, trefft auf den Hof a fremden Jiden. He found in the courtyard a stranger. Was geht ihm ab Shalom, who shook hands with him, und stellt sich vor, als is der Moel Lapidus, the Mishpachas Rokeach. And he presented himself as the circumciser Lapidus from the family Rokeach. Tzalia werd knapp was nispoil faragiches. Tzalia was not particularly impressed by pedigree. Fragt den Jiden, was will, davenen Mincha? So he asked the fellow, what do you want? You here to pray the afternoon prayer? Ja, davenen Mincha, zog Lapidus sein Bärdel und nimmt unterkrächzen. Yeah, to daven Mincha. Lapidus tugged at his little beard, and he began to groan. Oi, was von Zaretscher bis Medrash is geworden. Woe, what has become of the best Medrash of on the Zaretscher Street? Vermacht, the ganzen Tag auf ein Schloss, vermacht. It's closed and locked all day long. It's locked. Amol hat Reb Yisrael Salanter gehalten a yeshiva, und man hat da gelernt Teire, Tag wie Nacht. Once upon a time, Reb Yisrael Salanter, the founder of the Musa movement, he had a yeshiva here, and they studied Torah day and night. Salje hat ihm schon nicht mehr. Hat Feind Krechtzer und Balabechis. Salje didn't listen to them anymore because he hated people who groaned and who were masters of crying. Der über 80-jährige Gabe mit die hinter eus gebeugene Plätzes und lange Kummerfies. This Gabbai, who was over 80 years old, and he had shoulders that were bent over, and he had long, crooked feet, legs. A gedrotte Wetter und Beiner dicker, spannt Pamelech herein in Besmedrisch. Gedrotte Wetter, spindly, I'd say, and bony.
Wiry, perhaps?
Wiry is good, yeah. And bony. He slowly strode into the best medrash and guckt sich mehr nicht auf Lapidus. And he didn't look back at Lapidus. Was geantwortet sich herein hinter him, who was creeping in behind him. Und der Polotzker Dayan kommt nicht zur Minche, fragt Moel. And the Dayan of Polotsk, he doesn't arrive for afternoon prayers. The Moel asked. Kommt zum Meirev. He arrives for the evening prayer. Tapzalje die verschlossene Kesslach. Guckt noch, zu keiner hat sie nicht aufgerissen. He touched the closed, the locked cartons to make sure that no one had opened them. Der Dayan hat verklagte Jiden und Kinder Cholieres. The Dayan, this is the rabbi, but they call him the judge, has a wife who's got problems and children who are like cholera. Kinder bei Tag nicht weggehen von Stub. At daytime, he's not able to leave his house. Sicher, als wird jetzt den Polotzker Dayan nicht treffen, certain now that he would not encounter the rabbi, the Polotzker Dayan, nimmt Moel wieder klagen auf Golas Hashchina. The Moel again complain about the fact that the presence of God was in exile. Und für das, als wie bald Reb David selber is do a Rov, is gar kein Wunder nicht, was der Zaretscher Besmedrisch pustevet. And seeing as Reb David Zelver is the rabbi here, it's not at all surprising that this Besmedrish on Zaretscher Street is becoming empty. Wird da a vielen nicht den Zettel, was ist herausgeklebt in alle Wilner Kleusen. Zet da a vielen nicht. He can't even see, this is the moil, doesn't even see here that Zettel, the announcement, which was posted in all of the study houses of Vilna. This is the document that said that the Council of Rabbis had disagreed with Zelver's decision. Was Zettel in welche Lokschen? Guckt him Salya on mit chshad. What sort of a document and what sort of noodles are you talking about? Salya looked at him with suspicion. What does Zettel? Chapt Lapidus heraus von Keshne die Moida'a und beweist dem Gabe schwarz auf weiß. Lapidus took out of his pocket the announcement and he showed the Gabe black on with black letters on white, quite clearly, as der Wilder Vad Harabonim is nit maskim mit dem Psakdin von Polotsker Dayan. That the Vilna Council of Rabbis does not agree with the religious decision made by the Polotsker Dayan. Was hat Mater gemacht an AGUNE, who had permitted an AGUNE to remarry. The Rabbonim was in Schreiben Azoi abgehit. The rabbis have to write this very carefully, while Yidden seien in Golas, because Jews, after all, are still in exile. Nor meinen sie zum Sagen, as der Polotsker Dayan is in Cherem. But what they really are trying to tell you is that they have placed the Polotsker Dayan under a ban. Mentor im nicht rechnen zu a minion, and he should no longer be counted to a minion. Nicht rechnen zu a minion, guckt sich Zalya arum in der Puster Kleus, wie wollt gechespelt, sie erkennt zu neu stellen a minion an dem Polotsker Dayan. Not count him in the prayer quorum? Zalya looks around at the empty room as if he were counting whether he can accumulate a minion without counting the Polotsker Dayan. As a chevreman is as metorim nit rechnen zu a minion. He's such a gangster that you can't count him anymore to a minion. Aber macht dem Anstell von a Stillinken, a Nebachel, was ken kein zwei nit zählen. Even though he pretends to be a silent sort of person, a worthless person, who can't even count to two. Quetscht sich doch bei Shmoynesra a sho afen Zeger. He drags out his Amida prayer to an hour on the clock. Was mer Zalje wer bräuges, als mer dreht sich aus mit den Rücken zu sein mit Schmurser. The more Tzalya became angry, the more he turned his back to the fellow speaking to him. Und redt zu jenem über den Achsel, and he spoke to him over his shoulder. Versteht nicht, sagt für was man hat ihm nicht gerufen auf der rabbanischer Asifa. He, Tzalya, has no idea why they didn't call him also to this meeting of rabbis. Der Gabe von Zaretscher Klois mag doch wissen, was die städtische Rebbeim sagen, wegen Zaretscher Rav. The Gabe of the Zaretscher prayer house should be allowed to know what the city rabbis are saying about the Zaretscher Rav. Und die AGUNE ist doch euch von der selber Gegend. And the Agune comes from the same neighborhood. Hat man in alle Kleusen ja ausgeklebt zettlich und in Zaretscher Kleus hat man kein Zettel nicht angeklebt. They had posted these announcements in all of the prayer houses. But in the Zaretscher prayer house, they had not affixed the announcement. Okay, enough for me.
Okay. Auf dem entwirrt Lapidus, als weist sehr wohl, was der Wad Harabonim hat ausgemitten dem Zaretscher Beschmedres. Lapidus answered this question as since that he knew very well why the rabbinic council had left out the Zaretscher study house. Die Rabbonim seien sicher, als auf den Berg halt man mit dem Polotzker, worum bei es ist matter gewinnt trocken Geld Shabbos und unten in Stott ist man gewinn aufgekocht auf der Nevela. So the rabbis were certain that up on the mountain, they supported the Polotsker, since at the time that he permitted the carrying of money on Shabbos, and down in the city, in the town, they were aufgekocht. They were angry about this infamous act, this abominable act. Hat man oben auf den Berg sich gemacht nicht wissendig, but up on the hill, they ignored this. Lapidus erzählt, als hat demolt gehabt das Schmus mit dem Zaretscher Gabe Halamai, sie halten a Rov, was verschwart sei das Ponim verrastot mit Jiden. And Lapidus related that at that time he had a conversation with the Zaretscher Gaba. He spoke to him about why they kept on a rabbi who embarrassed the synagogue in the face of within the city of Jews. Hat ihm der Gabe demolt geantwortet, als der Polotske Dayen is a stiller Mensch und hat a krank Weib. And at that time, the Gabe answered him that the Polotsker judge was a quiet person who had a very sick wife. Jener Gabe is schon a scheuchen Offer, und auf a scheuchen Offer tome nicht reden. That Gaba was now already deceased, and on about a deceased person, one shouldn't talk, one shouldn't say bad things. Nor wenn lebt noch, der Amolike Gaba, wollt man auf ihm gemerkt sagen, als is a Yida Scheuter. But if had he still been living, that former Gaba, they would have been able to say to him that he was a fool. Kurz von der Sach unten in Stott weiß man noch nicht, als in Klois auf dem Berg hat sich schon gebeten die Memschola. The kurz von der Sache. The short, in short, and down under in the city, they didn't know that in the synagogue on the hill on the mountain that the government, the rulers had people who were running the show had changed. Und zurückgeschmust, wenn man hängt ja äußer Zettel, wollt denn der Polotsker Dayen gelost es hängen, and in any event, if you want to talk about it, when had they actually hung up this announcement, would the Polotska Dayan, the Polotska judge, have permitted it to be hanging in the Klois? Batevit doch in Zaretsche Klois wie beim Taten in Weingarten. He ran things in the Zaretsche synagogue. He wasn't involved in the running of the synagogue. Derweil bin ich do balabos, nimmt Zalia Arois die Modoa von Lapidesens Hand und messt sie on auf den Tovel beim Reingang. In the meantime, I'm the one who runs the show over here. And Tsalia took the announcement from Lapidus's hands and he measured it on the board at the entrance. Zudem wollte man bedarft haben knopkelig oder klei. One would have needed to have thumbtacks or glue in order to hang it up. Mit Speichs wird sich es nicht halten. With spit, it wouldn't hold on the board with spit. As ben darf knopkelig, hab ich knopkelig gehabt Lapidus Arois von a papierl eiserne stechelig mit breite keppelig und dine fieslich. If you need thumbtacks, I have thumbtacks. So Lapidus took out of a piece of paper iron pins with broad little heads and thin points. Azoi, hat euch zugegräht knockelig? So, have you also prepared thumbtacks? Guckt Zalia on dem Oreich mit a Minna, wie wollt ihm gefragt, sie tut als von Mitzvah wegen. So Zalia looked at the visitor with an expression as though he were asking if he was doing everything as if it were a mitzvah. Lapidus zet as muss rois mit loschen. And Lapidus saw that he needed to remark about this. Der Zelter der Gabe, wie so is jahrelang gegangen auf Brissen beginnen. Und wie so hat zähnlicher junge Leid ausgelernt sein Mäulim euch beginnen, bis ist auf ihm aufgestanden als Selinger, seiner ergewiesene Talmud und abgedungen dem Polotske Dayen, soll ihm asseren. So he told, Lapidus told the Gaba that he had for many, many years performed circumcisions for free, and how he had taught tens of young people, young men, how to be a moil for free, until there stood up a moil by the name of Zellinger, a former student of his, and he opgedungen.
Hired. Hired?
Sorry?
Hired?
Bought him on.
No,
No, hired.
it's
Abgedungen.
he
hired-
Bought
I
him
could say
off.
suborned.
Okay.
sorry, Raphael?
My best guess at an English equivalent here is the word suborn. He gave money to he bribed.
Yeah.
Bribed, yeah. Okay, he bribed the Polotska Dayan that he should forbid him from doing brisses. Der Zellinger is an Unsetzer. This Zellinger is a bankrupt man, a Trefniak, und a Weibernik, a Schicksekriecher. Oi. Maligning him terribly. This Zellinger is a bankrupt man. He eats treif. He's a womanizer, one who runs after non-Jewish women. Das ist nicht schlecht, sagt Thalia. So this isn't so bad, said Thalia. Was ist nicht schlecht? Guckt him on Lapidus. What do you mean it's not bad? Lapidus looked at him. Was der Zellinger is a Weibernik, is nicht schlecht, antwortet ihm Thalia gelassen. Euer Talmud weiß, was gut ist. So this Zellinger, that Zellinger is a womanizer, is not a bad thing, answered Thalia calmly. Your student knows a good thing. Wir reden da nicht wegen Zellinger, dem gemacht schmeinig, nor wegen Polotske Dayen reden wir. So we're not talking about Zellinger, may his name be blotted out, but we're talking about the Polotske judge, schreit Lapidus. Lapidus yelled out. Wiedergabe wollt Teub gewinnen auf beide Euren, as if the Gabbai was deaf in both ears. Ich will nicht schwören, als der Roveierer Misteins gesagt, hat nicht genommen kein Geld bei dem ausgelassenen Weibel, die Esches Heil, was hat Matter gewinnt. I wouldn't swear that your rabbi, Mishtein's gesagt, poor thing, had never taken any money from that debauched woman, the married woman who he permitted to marry again. Das Weibel ist euch nicht schlecht, sagt Talia mit der Kaltkeit von an Unterweltnik. Ich sehe sie oft vorbeigehen, sag ich euch, als sie ist gora schön Weibel. That woman is really not so bad, says Talia, with the coldness of a person from the underworld. I see her walk by often, and I tell you that she is quite a pretty woman. Eider ich hab reingenommen in Stub mein itztige Idene, hab ich nicht einmal getracht, als die Agune von Polotske-Gas wollt mir gepasst besser. Before I brought my present wife into the house, I had more than once thought that this Aguna of Polotska Street she would have suited me better. Nor ich hab verstanden, als sie sucht a junge Manchik. Und trotzdem, wie sagt ihr, sie ist ein eisches Isch. But I understood that she was looking for a much younger man. And besides that, how do you say? She is a married woman. An eishes Isch und kein Totter kann nicht helfen. Habt unter Lapides und hitzig wie Verfeier nicht zu bringen nach Chazal. A married woman that no one who's beyond help, no one can help her. Lapidus said, and one needs to beware of her as one is of fire, not no, this
Lapidus is careful not to bring out a quote.
He's
sorry?
careful.
Lapidus is being careful not to use too much quotation of Chazal to Tzalia, who clearly doesn't enjoy hearing citations from the sages.
Ja. So warum sieht, als hat dort zu tun mit a groben Nefesh, was hat Feind a Talmid Chochem, because he saw that he was dealing here with a groben, a coarse individual who who doesn't like learned people. Und ob wird nehmen Waffen mit wörtlich von der Gemorre, kann noch beim am Haaretz herausrufen a Sinne zu sich. And if he would start quoting words from the Gemara, to this ignorant person, he would cause him to to hate him. Helft dem Gabe zu neufstellen Armenien zu Mincha und hanfet ihm die ganze Zeit, als die heintige junge Leid tegen zu gar nicht. So he helped the Gabba to get together a minyan for Mincha, and he comforted him. He
That gives him compliments.
Flatter.
Letter.
flattered him. Yes, he flattered him the whole time. That the young people of today don't are worth nothing. Aber geht weg, habt sich fort arois mit a posuk. But before he left, he still came out with a quote of a verse. Auf dem sagt Lapidus, klockt doch der Novi, wie in Eiche steht. And about this, Lapidus said, the prophet complained, as it is written in Eicha, Vatered Peloim. There is a decline greatly in fortune. Die Zarecha Klois is azoi arop gesunken, as sie ist von Rabbi Yisrael Salanter reingefallen in die Hand von Palotzker Dayan. There's been such a terrible decline that the Zarecha Klois has sunk down from the times of Rabbi Yisrael Salanter and has fallen into the hands of the Polotzker judge. Okay.
Okay. In Cherem. That's under a ban. Wenn Reb David ist rein zum Erev, hat der Sehen, wie über einen Reingang brennt ein Lamp und ihnen stehen herum am Modell, was hängt auf der Tür. Was hängt auf der Tür. So when Reb David came into the evening prayer, he saw above the entrance there was a lamp, and Jews were standing around a notice that was hanging on the door. Aber gleich wie das Gesemmel oder der Sehn, seien sich die Balebatim voneinander gekrochen über einen großen halbdunklen Beismidrash. But just as soon as this group of people saw him, the house owners, another way to call them, they walked. They walked slowly through the. What were you saying? They crawled. They crawled.
Yeah, but the Fernando is kind of separate, so they crept away, perhaps.
Okay. Halb dunkel und Beth Midrash, a half dark synagogue. Reb David hat ein Kugeton auf der Moda und ist geblieben vergliedert. Reb David looked at the notice and he remained shocked. Dort ist Tage nicht gewinn geschrieben, als man ruft euch auf dem Acherem, wie Levi hat ihm gestrascht. Over there in the notice, it wasn't written, that they are calling a ban on him, the way Reb Levi was threatening, warning him. Dort hat sich bloß gesagt, als der Rabbonim ist nicht Maske mit seinem Psagdin. All that was said there in the notice is that the rabbinic council wasn't in agreement with his decision. Doch hat der fühlt, wie es zittern bei ihm die Mäulwinkeln und die Knie. Still, he felt that the corners of his mouth and his knees were shaking. Wo wird nehmen Koyach auszustehen die neue Redifes? Where from will he get energy to overcome the new Redifes, the new persecutions? Auch nicht. Okay. Nu Zores. Lässt sich gehen zu Mizrach mit einem herabgelassenen Kopf und bleibt stehen in seinem Winkel beim Aron Kodesh mit dem Ponym zu der Wand. He lets himself walk to the east with his head down, and he remains standing in his corner by the ark with his face to the wall. In Moach, egbert ihm, als darf zu Neufrufen die Balabatim und sich verentfernen, sie als erklären. It's bothering him in his head that he has to call, to get the house owners together and to explain to defend himself and to explain to them. Euch muss sich schaffen a Zad, was soll sich vor ihm annehmen gegen Vadarabonim, was rot für him. Also, he has to get for himself a side, somebody who would be on his side, so that would protect him against the rabbinic council who's persecuting him. Aber verentfernen sich ist nicht in sein Teve, but defending himself, defending himself is not part of his nature. It's not something that he does. Und dazu hat sich allemal gehalten weitlach von seinen Balabatim. And in addition, he was always kept himself distant from his house owners. Machmas ist ständig vernommen mit seine kranke Bnei Bais, because he's always busy with his sick family. Von deswegen gefinnen sich mit Mispalelim, was helfen ihm Erev Yontef und amol euch Erev Shabbos. Still, there are those congregants who help him on the eve of a holiday and sometimes Friday night. Sie seien Edeliden und tun es auf ein Offen von Emerson Mathan Beseter. Geben ihm die Hand und erfüllt in sein Glonie Papiergeld. They are gentle people, and they are doing it in a way where they are donating to him anonymously without advertising it. They give him their hand, and he filled in the palm of his hand paper money. Jetzt werden euch seine gezählte Balabatim von ihm abfallen. Now his few house owners that are on his side, they too will get away from him. Auf der anderen Seite von Arna Kodesh stehen jeden herum dem Gabar Zolier und machen zu ihm mit die Hand, willen ihm einstillen. On the other side of the ark, there's 10 Jews around the Gabar Zolier, and they are waving to him with his hands. They want him, they want to calm him down. Zolier redt mit der Kiven hoch auf dem Kohl, Reb David soll der Herrn. Zolier is talking in a loud voice so that Reb David will hear him. Wenn wir haben einen leitischen Rov, wird unser Besmidrash gewähnen. Masha, you want? I don't see the next page. Wenn wir haben einen leitischen Rov, wird unser Besmidrash gewähnen. We need to go to 171. Given gepackt. If we had a qualified rabbi, then our synagogue would have been full of people. Avelim gehen zurück von Besäulem und suchen, wo reinzugehen davenen und hören ein dreist Wort von einer guten Jiden. Mourners that are walking back from the cemetery, and they're looking where to go to pray and hear some words of consolation from Guten Yidden. Isn't Guten Yidden a chassid? But I guess for here it's like from a qualified person, from a good Jew. Ist aber die Zarecher Kloi ständig zugemacht, but the Zarecher synagogue is always locked. Unser Rov hat in Sinnen bilchere Sachen. Hat in Sinnen Matter machen, Eishes Ischnitzes. Our rabbi has on his mind lighter things. He has on his mind to permit married women to permit them to remarry. Ich hab kein Zeit nicht, lo mir davenen Mairiv, gwaldevet a Kremer euch mit a Kiven, כדי der Rov soll nicht hören dem Gabas Wörter. Ich hab gelost auf Hefker mein Parnosse. I don't have time. Let's pray the evening prayer. Screams, yells. A store owner also in a loud voice, so that the rabbi shouldn't hear what the gabbai is saying. I have left my store, perhaps my livelihood. That's my store. I have left all by itself to be here. Wer will es wissen, schreit Zolje noch echer. Who wants to know that? Zolje is screaming in a louder voice. Was bin ich euch? Ein Unterschames? What am I to you? Is a sub-gabbai? Someone who's beneath the gabbai? Gate stellt sich beim Teuer und gefindt Azenten. Go stand by the gate and find Azenten is money, like a $10.
The 10th
Pardon?
person, a minion. The 10th person.
Yeah, okay, yeah, thank you, yeah, sure, Azenten. Wir seinen Salbezent bet sich beim Gabbai als zweiter, wir seinen Salbezent bet sich beim Gabbai als zweiter Jid. Nicht eins, nicht zwei, nicht drei, like we are almost 10.
No, we are in fact 10.
We are in fact 10? Okay, thank you. The Gabbai, another Jew is asking the Gabbai, not one, not two, not three. Ich seh bloß nein, halt sich Zolje bei das Seinike. I see only 9. Zolje insists on what he said before. Dem Rov Tomen zu Minyan nicht rechnen. You cannot count the rabbi for the Minyan. Ich hab gehört von einem ehrlichen Jiden und einem großen Lamden, als der, was liegt in Chere, meger sein a viele Arab, Tormen ihm nicht rechnen zu a Minyan. I heard from a decent Jew and a great scholar that when a person is under a ban, even if he is a rabbi, he cannot be counted for a minyan. Die Jiden befallen dem Gabbai, als mag sich schämen in sein weiten Hals, so zu reden. The Jews are attacking the Gabbai, that he should be ashamed to talk like that. Schaltewet Und weil der wird schon zu viel in Zaratscha bis Midrash, he is
He acts as a tyrant. Shaltavan is to be a tyrant.
okay. Okay, thank you. Zij die balabatim zijn hem niet die kestlach was die balabatim zijn hem niet die kestlach was halt verschlossen. Zij wird niet, die Meiler niet zuschließen. The house owners are not the boxes that he keeps locked. He will not lock up their mouths. Won't stop them from talking. Aber Zolje reißt sich auf den ganzen Hals, als der Balabos in Besmidrash ist But Zolje screams with his entire throat that the boss of the Besmidrash is him. Und wenn sagt, man wird nicht davenen, wird man nicht davenen. And if he says that they should not be praying, they will not be praying. Der Moel Lapidus hat ihm gesagt, als von Heinton und weiter, Tomen dem Polotsker Dayen nicht rechnen zu Armenien. The Moel Lapidus told him that from today, starting today and onward, it is not allowed to consider the Polotsker judge as part of a minion. Okay. Michael.
Ja, Lapidus springt dem Gabbai von ihm. Jew jumps at the Gabba. Is doch a Ganavin a yarmulke. He is a thief who wears a yarmulke. A Rotseach, a destroyer. Hat verschnitten a Ingel. Unser Rav hat ihm geassert. He damaged a little boy with his circumcision, and our rabbi forbade him from continuing to be a circumciser. Kocht und siedet wie a top mit Schmalz. So he boils like a pot with fat. Herr Amaisa, here's something. Der Tzaddik in Peltz Lapiduska, I think like the sheep in the wolf in sheep's clothing, Lapidus is an evil man. Actually, I must say that Grada has created two wonderful bad characters, Thalia and Lapidus. It's fun to read about them. Vier Weiber hat ihr begraben. You have buried 4 wives. Is showing the höchste Zeit. It's already time. Die 5. soll euch begraben, that your 5th wife should bury you. Schreit als Aretcher Markhändler zum Gabbai, a Aretcher market merchant shouts to Gabbai. 85-jährige starb Moich. 85-year-olds also die. And there was a previous section where they dealt with his fear of dying. Hat noch mit dem Malach Amavis nicht getanzt, kein Kamerinska. You haven't had a dance yet with the angel of death. Rabbi soll sich euch dachten, als Hund bildhaft der Labona. Rabbi, treat it as if a dog is barking at the moon. warf sich zu Rab Doviden, der Tremor, was hat gelost auf Hefker sein, Arnosa. Rabbi treated like a dog barking at the moon, the shopkeeper who had left his income, his business abandoned, shouted at threw at David. Bei uns seid ihr den Rabbin gebleiben, right? With us, you have been a rabbi and you remain a rabbi. Ein eingeschrumpfter und abgegossener mit Schweiß in seinen Winkel, shrunken and drenched with sweat in his corner, wird sich David gleichweise und lustig gehen zum Gesemmel, Alabaster. David straightens himself up and goes to the assembly of householders. Die Juden bleiben still und Salia dreht sich aus zum Polotker, Diane sei mit Kutzler und sei mit Schreck. The Jews remain quiet, and Salia turns around to the Polotker Diane with Kutzler cheek and with fright. Der Kleinwuchsige Rab David will ausschreien zum Landen Spitzen dabei. The small-statured Rab David wants to shout out to the tall, peaked Gabbai, Rasha Marusha, you're extremely evil, you are the one who's banned, Marusha, you evil person. But it can what we thought them, but he can't bring out a single word. Seine Lippen bewegen sich, his lips move, seine Zähne tracen sich, his teeth chatter, nor das Loschen is him opgenomen, but language is taken away from him. Wie der Cherem wollt euch verscholten sein Keul, as if the ban had also cursed his voice. Die Klois Balabatim herumstehen zu Tumult. The householders in who belong to the synagogue stand around confused. Rab David's Schweigen war unruhig sei. Rab David's being quiet makes unease. Efter is takkelijk happy, really is the game. The cover that said the Adonica identified, the Gabbai picks up the surrounding indecision or weakness, guckt erop af een Rab met haar verkrimpten Schmeichel. So he looked down at the rabbi with a crooked smile, und nimmt drehen über den Wijsvinger den Preußenbund schließen, and he takes to swinging around his bundle of keys around his index finger, raised it mit Rab Doviden auf Stummloschen, and he teases Rab Doviden with mute language. Mehr will ich von dir nicht aufschließen, der Sforim-Geber. I won't have to open the room full of books for you anymore. Mehr will ich dich nicht überlassen bis halb Nacht in Beis Midrash. I won't have to leave you anymore till midnight in the synagogue. Du sollst können abruhen von die ständige Geweinen in deinem Stub, so that you're able to take a break, rest from the continuous weeping in your house. Rab David guckt noch als auf den Gabbai mit aufgerissenen Augen und sein Blutsticker Rab David continued to look up at the rabbi with wide open eyes and his body trembled. Streng von Roysterreden, sorry, I don't know where this noise is coming from. Streng von Roysterreisen himself was opgestorbener Paul. He is making a great effort to pull out from his throat the uh, the voice that has died away, aber das Stimmen ist herrscht ihm als mehr und mehr, but uh, the being dumb, not being able to speak, rules him more and more. On een woord uit te reden, lost it came to that here without saying anything more. He walks towards the door, and when geht, voorbij die moeder met een lempel was beleuchtet, and when he goes past the announcement with the lamp that is shining on it, geht him a schwindel in kop. He feels faint. Als das ist, moeder wegen sein Teut, na lempel noch sein ausgegangen Leben, that this is an announcement of his death and a light for his life which has departed. Whoever wants to take over from there.
Okay, I'll take over.
Thank you.
Schon nicht einmal ist Reb Davids Jüngel, Josefel, zurückgekommen von der Javne-Schule mit der Gewinn, als mehr wird nicht gehen lernen. It wasn't only once that David's lad, Joey, would come back from the Yavne school crying that he will no longer go there to study. Weil der Melamed verschämt him, because the teacher embarrasses him. Hat der Tata so lang gearbeitet mit Guten und mit Besen, bis hat bei Joseflin gepeilt, zurückzugehen in Cheder. His father managed, both with kindness and with anger, to finally convince Joey to go back to the Cheder. Aber auf morgen nach dem Wiedergabe Zalje hat Reb David nicht gerechnet zum Minyan. But on the next day, after Tzalya, the Gabe, refused to count the rabbi in the minyan, is Yosefel wieder zurückgekommen von Cheder mit der Gewein. Joey came back from Cheder again, crying. Hat sich zerschlagen mit der Jüngel und jeder hat ihm vermassert von Melamed. He had gotten into a fight with some boy, and that guy had tattled to the teacher. Sagt sie ihm der Melamed, für was hast du geschlagen a balabatisch Jüngel? And the teacher had asked Joey, how come you've been hitting an upright citizen's boy? Zahlt schar limud und du nicht. He is paying the tuition fee, but you aren't. Die Rabbonim haben ausgehangen zettlich gegen dein Taten, and the rabbis have even put up announcements against your father. Es wird sein gleicher, du sollst nicht lernen und nicht auswachsen als a Rav. It's better that you should not study to become a rabbi, wie dein Tate, like your father. Atazoi hat der Melamed zu ihm gerät, for in ganzen class. That's how the teacher had spoken to him in front of the whole class. Und die Augen, in die Augen, right in their presence. Und der Pfarrer wird mehr nicht gehen in Cheder, and that's why he doesn't want to go. He will not go again into Cheder. Der Rebbetzin Edel hat a Fall getan auf dem Bett, a halb verchallischte. The rabbi's wife, Edel, fell onto her bed, half in a faint. Reb David hat sie genommen minteren und sich geträstelt von Grimzorn. Reb David started to revive her, and he was trembling with Grimzorn, anger. Wird gehen zu Reb Levin und ihm aushacken die Scheiben. He'll go over to Reb Levi's house, the Malabed, and he'll knock out his windows, ice flicken the board, pull out his beard. Aber viele me wollt im Machriv gewen, tormen sein Jingel mit machen für Goy. Even if they had banned him, they shouldn't, because of that, make his little boy into an unlearned non-Jew. Aber Rav David hat gleich eingesehen, als wird haben upon von Chayzik zum Modern Gerechtigkeit bei sein Balmel Machleukes und Dam Seine. But Rav David immediately saw that he would appear to look like a chayzik, a mocker, if he is requesting honesty from his
Justice?
justice by at the hands of the person who is engaging in dispute with him and is his blood enemy. When the Rebbetzin is endlich gekommen zu sich, when the Rebbetzin finally came to herself, hat Rab David sie genommen Dresden. Rab David began to comfort her, as allein wird lernen mit Yoseflen, that he himself would study with Joey. Edel is gelegen wie vertäubte und gemurmelt. Edel was lying as if struck deaf, and she muttered, Der Malabed is gerecht. The teacher is right. For mein Sohn wird sein gleicher, soll auswachsen bodei a Pferdganef, abi nit kein Rav. For my son, it would be better that he should grow up to be, I'm just looking up bodai here.
If needs be.
What is it?
If needs be.
If needs be, okay. Yeah, I'm just not finding it here. But bodai, even or rather, yeah. Rather, he should grow up rather to be a horse thief and not a rabbi. That's sein Weib nit haben meine Saches. His wife then wouldn't have my problems. Und nit darfen verschlissen dem Tag von ihr, verschilten dem Tag von ihr Geboren. And she would not be cursing the day of her birth. Mit einmal hat sie sich aufgesetzt und angeguckt dem Mann mit ihrer großen Augen. Suddenly she sat up and she looked at her husband with her large eyes. Was seien es für Zettlech, was die Rabbanim haben ausgehangen? What sort of notices did the rabbis put up? Du nutzt euch mein nicht kennen herausgehen von Stub und sagst mir gar nicht. You're using the fact that I can't go out from the room and you don't tell me anything. Reb David hat noch sein Rebbetzin ein Wort nicht gesagt, wegen dem Din Teure in Beis Din Shlibo. Reb David had still not spoken a word to his wife about the Din Teure, the rabbinic judgment in the Beis Din, in the rabbinic court. Hat das Keseder abgelegt auf später. He was continually putting it off for later. It's aber, wenn hat es mehr nicht gekannt ausbehalten, that now, when he could no longer hold it secret, hat mit a modner verjester Ruhigkeit erzählt. He explained with a strange calmness, as if he were giving up hope. Wegen alles, was ist vorgekommen in Beis Din Shlibo, about everything that had happened in the courtroom. When I feel wegen seiner Bisyonis, and even about his embarrassments, Nachten bei Nacht in Zaretscher Besmedrish, and even about his embarrassments yesterday evening in the synagogue of Zaretscher Street. Edel ist geblieben also gepleft, als sie hat ihm angeguckt, mehr verwundert wie erschrocken. Adel was so amazed that she looked at him more in wonder than in fear. Reb David hat Meure gehabt zu sein dabei, wenn Gepfefftigkeit wird abgehen. Reb David was afraid to be nearby when her astonishment would depart, wie das Versteifkeit von verfrorenen Glieder, just like the stiffness of frozen limbs. Und sie wird fühlen den Wetek, and then she'll start feeling the pain. Is hastig heraus von Stub. He quickly left the room. Und sich gelost gehen, gich, and he started walking quickly. Die Machshavas sollen ihm nicht anjagen, so that his thoughts would not catch up to him. Aber die Machshavas haben ihm arriba gejagt. But his thoughts did run faster than he did.